My name is Johnny Wanch, and I'm the police chief for the City of Middletown Police Department. I would like to thank all of our guests and media partners who have gathered here with us today as we present detailed information on a long-term narcotics investigation that was just recently concluded, which we have dubbed Operation Hide in Plain Sight. I will be joined today at the podium by City of Middletown Mayor Joseph DeStefano, Orange County District Attorney David Hoovler, and Orange County Sheriff Paul Arteta. At the conclusion of the press conference, we will be available to answer any questions that you may have regarding the investigation. Just real quick before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge a few people that are here with us today. Obviously, Mayor DeStefano, without his support, we couldn't do a lot of things that we do. Also with us today are two of our police commissioners. We are governed by a civilian police commission here in Middletown, and today with us is Commissioner Vignola and Commissioner Mills, so thank you for your support. Also, we have some of our elected officials that also support the police department in all of our endeavors. We have Alderman Massey, Alderman Witt, Alderman Tobin, Alderman Kleiner, and then several of our department heads here with us today as well. So thank you for your support in this. So first and foremost, I'd like to start by thanking the very dedicated members of the City of Middletown Police Department who put forth an extraordinary effort to bring Operation Hide in Plain Sight to a successful conclusion. These officers contributed literally hundreds of hours of time and effort in identifying these perpetrators, recording their illegal activities, and tracking them down so that they could be brought to justice and no longer pose a deadly threat to the Orange County community. I'm extremely proud of these men and women who worked tirelessly 24 hours a day, 7 days per week to keep the city safe, and I owe them a sincere debt of gratitude. Thank you to all my people. District Attorney Hoovler and Sheriff Arteta will absolutely agree that large-scale operations like this one are very in-depth and require a monumental amount of time and resources in order to be successful. I greatly appreciate the partnerships that we have forged with their agencies and many others, and the coordination that went into making this operation successful. It is a testament to the commitment that all of the law enforcement agencies in our communities have to keeping our communities safe from the scourge of narcotics-related crimes. I'd like to acknowledge and thank all of the different agencies that assisted the Operation Hide in Plain Sight. Orange County District Attorney's Office, under the guidance of DA Hoovler, we couldn't have done this without you, so thank you. DA Hoovler will also go into some of the details specific to the defendants and some of the charges and some other background information. The Orange County Drug Task Force, under Senior Investigator Tommy Watson's guidance. Orange County Sheriff's Office, under the leadership of Sheriff Arteta, and along with him today is Under Sheriff Will Garcia. The Orange County SOG team, under the direction of Deputy Davis. The City of Port Jervis Police Department, under the leadership of Chief Warden, who is being represented today by Lieutenant Sargente and Sergeant Moscatello. The New York State Police, who's being represented today by Lieutenant Mike Moran. Hudson Valley Crime Analysis Center, under the guidance of Frank Graziano. Representing them today is Kelsey Ragney. The Yonkers Police Department, the DEA Strike Force, and the FBI Hudson Valley Safe Streets Task Force. I'd also like to extend a special thanks to a few very important partners that really made this investigation come to light. Orange County Assistant District Attorney Alexis Gregory. She was with us from the start of this. Day in and day out, she worked hand in hand with my staff to ensure that we followed the law, to make sure that we overcame obstacles, was right there day and night with us. The Hudson Valley Crime Analysis in the Orange County, which is represented by Orange County Sheriff's Deputy Kelsey Ragney. Kelsey, thank you for all the hard work you did behind the scenes for us putting this together. City of Port Jervis Police Department, a great partnership in this as well. Detective Michael Decker. Mike, congratulations on your retirement. Mike's looking to retire this coming Friday, August 4th. I wish you the best in your endeavors as you move forward. Just want to briefly touch on a little bit about our narcotics unit. We run a full-time narcotics unit who's being guided by Sergeant Jason Bodette. Unfortunately, Jason could not be here today. He's away on a family vacation, which is definitely well earned. But under his leadership, he was able to guide this investigation from day one. It's about almost 2 years in the makings, and he's worked diligently with his team. Police Officer Alex Thornton, who was the case agent, Police Officer Nicholas Strapini, Police Officer Nicholas Pizzola, as well as all the other officers assigned to the narcotics unit, and they were greatly assisted by our detective unit. So thank you to all of them. All the individuals I just mentioned saw the potential impact that this case would have on our local community, and they committed themselves to making this case very high priority. All of you worked tirelessly, expanding the scope of the investigation based upon new leads and information you developed, putting in the time and effort that often meant foregoing time off and taking vacations with your family and missing other key events. None of you let the geographical boundaries of our city or the various other obstacles you faced limit this investigation. New information brought new partnerships and showed all of us how successful law enforcement can be when we all work together. I can't thank you enough for your commitment and the dedication each of you demonstrated in bringing this case to a successful conclusion. So now I'll just get into a quick, brief background of the actual case and the investigation. This case began well over a year ago, when the City of Middletown Narcotics Unit began making buys from a target known as Angelica Rodriguez, or otherwise known as Jelly. She was identified as being a main supplier of narcotics within the City of Middletown. Jelly was well known to our agency as she has been involved in the narcotics trade in our city for a number of years. In fact, she was bragging that she's been selling drugs here in Middletown since she was 15 years old. Jelly has several prior state and federal convictions related to narcotics and has a reputation of being a very savvy and cautious in her dealings so as to avoid detection. In the early stages of this investigation, the Narcotics Unit realized that this case had tentacles that reached well beyond the borders of the City of Middletown. Therefore, we arranged to meet with DA Hoovler and our law enforcement partners, and we put together an action plan that included phone taps of Jelly's cell phone. Through these phone taps, we were not only able to get clear insight into Jelly's narcotics trafficking business, but we were also able to identify several other business associates who were also selling quantities of narcotics. This investigation focused primarily on the narcotics dealers, not the end users, and led us to various targets and locations to include the City of Port Jervis, the Village of Otisville, the Village of Ellenville, the Town of Walk Hill, the Village of Woodsboro, the Village of Monticello, as well as the City of Yonkers. The investigation ultimately uncovered Jelly's main supplier, Michael Rodriguez of Yonkers, a 4-time felon with an extensive criminal history. DA Hoovler will speak a little bit more in depth about Michael Rodriguez in a few moments. After hundreds of man and women hours and various investigative measures, this case resulted in the execution of 6 search warrants, the arrest of 12 defendants, all of whom have prior felony convictions. We have additional defendants that are outstanding. In addition, we executed 6 search warrants, and we have seized $167,000 in U.S. currency, 3 illegally possessed handguns, one of which was defaced, one was reported stolen, a shotgun, 1,516 grams of cocaine and crack cocaine. These items can all be seen on the table behind us. This case highlights the importance of and the success that law enforcement agencies can have when they collaborate and pool resources together to achieve a goal, that goal being to stop the distribution of dangerous narcotics in our communities. Next, I'd like to introduce Mayor DeStefano to say a few words on behalf of the organization and this investigation.
Thank you, Chief, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning. Chief, I want you, DA Hoovler, and so many of the more partner agencies that the Chief mentioned. I stand before you here today with immense pride and gratitude for the brave men and women of law enforcement, all the law enforcement agencies who have demonstrated unwavering dedication in ensuring the safety and well-being of our community. It is with a deep sense of appreciation that I extend my heartfelt thanks to our police officers, investigators, our narcotics unit, and all those involved in this recent drug raid. The successful operation conducted recently was a result of meticulous planning, rigorous training, and an unparalleled commitment to keeping Middletown and the Hudson Valley a safe place to live, work, and raise families. The raid resulted in a seizure of a significant amount of illicit drugs, guns, and others, ensuring that these dangerous substances will not reach the streets and harm our citizens. It's especially concerning that someone involved in the program down in Yonkers and in the Bronx area that the DA will talk about appeared to be the main supplier of the narcotics up here in Middletown. We are all too aware of the destructive impact that drugs can have on our community. They not only destroy lives, but also foster an environment of fear and instability. Our law enforcement personnel have confronted these challenges head-on, working tirelessly to protect our community from the clutches of the drug trade. Their dedication and bravery are truly commendable. These men and women put their lives on the line every day, selflessly serving our city with valor and integrity. Their commitment to upholding the laws and safeguarding our community is nothing short of extraordinary. While this operation was a significant success, we must remain vigilant in our efforts to combat the drug epidemic in Middletown and the surrounding area. We in the City of Middletown will continue to invest resources, technology, and training to provide our law enforcement agencies with the tools they need to stay ahead of those who seek to harm our city. As mayor, I promise to stand firmly behind our law enforcement community and provide them with all the support they require to keep our streets safe. Together, we will continue to build a city where everyone can thrive, free from the clutches of drugs and crime. Once again, thank you all and law enforcement for the exceptional work, all the officers involved in this incredible raid here, and also Chief Awancho. It's because of the dedication of the Middletown Police Department that we owe you a debt of gratitude for your leadership of the department and bringing this about. So I want to wish you all a lot of luck as you move the prosecution along, and a lot of good work, and I want to thank you once again from the bottom of my heart so much.
Next, we'll have a few words from District Attorney David Hoovler.
Thank you, Chief Awancho. Thank you, Mayor DeStefano. First and foremost, this was a multi-agency narcotics trafficking case. It would not be possible without the partnerships in law enforcement. All the agencies that are here, the DA's office, the Middletown Police Department, the Orange County Drug Task Force, Port Jervis, the Crime Analysis Center, and it wouldn't be possible without the manpower supplied by the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office and the DA's office has had a drug task force since 2015. It has brought forth almost 500 cases, over 500 cases to date. Been very successful. So I'm very, very proud of the fact that Sheriff Arteta has committed to this, and you're seeing some of the results of that. Earlier today, when we sent out a media release, somebody from New York City media sent me a text and said, congratulations, it looks like a nice, what is it about? I told them it was a cocaine conspiracy, and they were like, congratulations, okay, you're going to live stream it, we're probably not going to send anybody. I said, fine. Let's just stop for a second and understand that, yes, everything you see up here is cocaine, there's powder, there's crack. Everything in today's climate, whether it's cocaine, whether it's heroin, illicit substances, contains trace fentanyl. It's that fentanyl that kills. And that's why we do what we do here. Between 2017 and 2022, between 117 and 142 people die every year in this county from overdoses. 99% of them, because of fentanyl in some way, shape, or form, finds their way into the drugs that they're taking or using. Just in 2022, 730 non-fatal overdoses in Orange County. In 2021, 634 non-fatal. Last year in the City of Middletown, 68. In the City of Port Jervis, 63 overdoses. That's why these police officers risk their lives and do what they're doing to try to save the public. We have 15 individuals that are charged here today. You heard the chief, many of them have prior felony convictions. I'm just going to outline what the charges involve. First and foremost, what you see up here is a simple chart. Everyone in this case is charged with a conspiracy. A conspiracy is very simply an agreement between two or more people to perform an unlawful act, and one person in the conspiracy takes an act in furtherance of doing that. The people in the conspiracy do not need to know each other personally. They do not need to know what each individual in the conspiracy is doing on a daily basis. All they need to know is the generalities that In this type of conspiracy, which is what we call a chain conspiracy, someone is distributing narcotics at the top and giving it to other people, and it's reasonable to assume all those other people involved in the chain know that they are distributing narcotics to other people. These 15 individuals that you see here were partaking in that activity in Orange County and around the Hudson Valley. But let's start with the person who was the major supplier, who was not the original target of this case, Michael Rodriguez, 48, of the Bronx. You will see up here that 1.5 kilos of cocaine, 2 guns, and over $167,000 was recovered from his residence in Yonkers. But what's scary about this is an individual that News 12 featured in July of 2022 and July of 2023 as the executive director and an employee of Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence. So the very guy that we have that's supposed to be stopping gun violence in one jurisdiction in New York City is poisoning our jurisdiction up here. It's kind of ironic that it's Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence. He had 2 guns. He's a previous felon. He faces up to 12.5 to 25 years on the conspiracy count and up to 24 years for possession of the 1.5 kilos of cocaine. Angelica Rodriguez, you heard the chief talk about. Her name has been circulated for years in the city of Middletown. She is a condition herself, a problem that has been a problem to this city, and hopefully now we're going to remove that. She has multiple convictions. She faces up to 12.5 to 25 years. She had 36 grams of cocaine on her one day that she had purchased, as well as she was found in possession of a 380 pistol. The third primary top person at the top is Tiano Lopez, who has been a problem for Port Jervis. And again, he was somebody that was being supplied by Michael Rodriguez and Angelica Rodriguez, who was also distributing to other people. So let's be very clear. Everyone on this chart, they're not small time. They're problems for our communities, and they're big time. Because again, if what you see up here, the 1.5 kilos and the $167,000, is a smidgen in time of what they're actually doing, and just imagine what they've done over the 2 years of the investigation. You're only looking at what we got on one day and what we know was transpiring over the last 3 months, primarily due to court-authorized eavesdropping. All of them are presumed innocent until found guilty in a court, and it is my hope that as the prosecutions go forward, we can hold them all accountable. I will end with the fact that this is what narcotics trafficking looks like today. And I hope that everyone understands that the numbers that I said before, 730 non-fatal overdoses in Orange County last year, 634 the year before, 68 in Middletown, 63 in Port Jervis, and 142 people died of overdoses in this county in 2021. It's not just cocaine. Fentanyl is in everything, because when drug dealers mix stuff up, when it gets sold, it gets mixed together, it gets adulterated, it gets diluted. That is why people die. And that is why the police officers do these cases and bring them to us, so that we can save at least one person somewhere, or save a family of not having to face losing a loved one. So my hat's off to all the officers from all the agencies, those that are here today and those that are not, for participating in this. And again, to the sheriff's office providing a lot of the manpower for the drug task force, as well as the city of Middletown for bringing this case forward and seeing it through. And particularly Mayor DeStefano and those on his council that support the police. It is a costly endeavor to do these cases, but they will undoubtedly save somebody somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, DA Hoovler. Next, we're going to hear from Sheriff Arteta Sheriff Arteta, I got to thank you for all the support, the partnership that you've provided us. In addition to our narcotics work, the sheriff provides us personnel to do additional patrols, hotspot policing patrols that is being funded by the GIVE grant, and amongst anything else that we ask of him. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate, I want to thank the District Attorney, Chief Awanchu, Mayor DeStefano, and all the other law enforcement partners. Without all of the collaboration, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing to keep illicit drugs off the streets as well as illegal guns. I want to thank all the faces that we don't see, all the men and women that are assigned to narcotics, that are out there day in, day out, away from their families, to make sure we're making our communities safer. There's some here in the audience, and there's some that obviously can't be here. Those folks are doing great work every day, and they're continuing to do great work to make our communities safer. As the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of this county, it's my job to make sure our communities are safer, and we're working in collaboration with all the different police agencies, the State Police, the City of Middletown, Port Jervis, Yonkers. I mean, there's nowhere we don't go to help our communities get this terrible drugs off the street, as well as handguns and illegal weapons of any sort. So this is just the fruits of their labor, and I just want to say congratulations to all those folks that were involved, and thank you again.
Anybody else? Thank you, Sheriff Arteta. Just have a few closing remarks, and then we'll take questions. So all too often we hear that drug crimes are nonviolent, victimless crimes that only impact the individuals who consume them. As the DA just mentioned, there's a lot of victims that that succumb to overdose. So we know that's not true. That cannot be farther from the truth, and law enforcement officers across this nation see this on a daily basis. Police officers know firsthand that the use and sale of narcotics is surrounded by violent crimes, such as assaults, shootings, and robberies, amongst other offenses. It is these very crimes that are destroying our communities and that have devastating effects on our families, which are in addition to the countless drug overdoses that are occurring at an alarming rate throughout this country. We believe this investigation has greatly disrupted the distribution of illegal drugs in the greater Middletown area, but we are also keenly aware that this investigation will not stop the distribution of narcotics from impacting our communities. I assure you that law enforcement will not sit back and take a back seat in this fight. We will continue to work together and to use every resource available to us as we work day and night to protect our communities. We are now open to any questions.
Chief, you mentioned that, well, everybody's mentioned that you got these people, but they'll go to jail, there'll be 15 more behind, right? And so it's a never-ending battle.
Yes, it could be a never-ending, but as you heard from all of us, we're not going to stop the fight. We will continue using resources, partnering together, using whatever technology we have access to do everything in our powers to make our community safe.
Piggybacking off of that question, are these individuals going to be held with bail? Are they released without bail?
The top two are presently being held based on the discovery and bail reform statutes. I want to go back to just what the chief. We've been at the handling of the opioid epidemic, the overdose epidemic that we've seen now. It's better part of a decade. We've tried law enforcement solution, we've tried public health solution, we've tried education, prevention, treatment. Matter of fact, before I came here today, I just looked. Used to be you couldn't get a bed for treatment in Orange County. Now on a typical day, about 50% of them are open. We need to invest a lot more time, a lot more money in the educational process with educating our youth and educating our young adults about drug addiction. And we need to find new innovative ways to get people to treatment, because it's very clear that 7 years ago you couldn't find a bed to go to treatment. Now there's plenty of beds. Society changes, and the way we approach things have to change. We have to start investing a lot more effort into new innovative ways to get people into treatment and to find a way to get them rehabilitated and put them back out. Because, quite frankly, we're failing. And we've been failing for a while now, and it's because there's so much fentanyl just floods. Those numbers I gave you, there's going to be more this year. Those numbers will be higher this year than they were before. And yet, law enforcement and those men and women in it are stuck here trying to find a way to help people and prevent these things from happening. Well, the way to prevent it is you got to stop some of this stuff from coming into America. There has to be a way to slow it down or to stop it. Because again, you said it, there'll be 15 more right behind them. But the good thing is the men and women in this room will make sure that something gets done about them too.
So Michael and Angelica are being held with bail?
Correct.
Okay, and the rest have been arraigned and have appearance tickets?
They've been arraigned and not appearance tickets, but they've been charged, yes.
Okay, so any bail set for them, or?
Not that I'm aware of. They're charged, they have return court dates.
Got it. Okay. Can you clarify specifically what was seized as a result of the operation? I know Chief Wancha was talking, but it was too fast for me to know. Specifically about the amount of narcotics.
Yes, it's 1,516 grams, about 1.5 kilos of cocaine, in excess of $167,000. 3 pistols, a shotgun, a scale, a money counter, a crack cooking implement. And about $50,000 worth of jewelry, which is not displayed here today, among other things. And that's just the major stuff that was recovered.
Now, when you say 50% of the beds are untaken, does that mean we have 50% more than we used to?
I just know what the count is. I just asked for a general count. They say there's 50% open.
You talked about Mr. Rodriquez working for this Bronx Rises Against Nonviolence as the director there. Can you clarify specifically what he was found with as well? You said that he was found with firearms.
1.5 kilos, 2 guns, and $167,000 in cash, and a hodgepodge of jewelry is the primary stuff.
Was he arrested in Yonkers or up here?
Well, he's charged here. Where he's arrested doesn't matter. The conspiracy is based here. The charge is based here. He'll be indicted here.
This will go to the grand jury rapidly?
Yes. Anything else for the chief or anyone else?
What's the bail amount set for the Rodriguez's, and what's their relationship?
No relationship. That'll be it'll all be in a press release. It'll go out in a couple minutes. But no relationship between the two Rodriguez's. Chief?
So in closing, once again, I'd just like to thank all the members of my staff, all of the support agencies that came through to help us with everything that concluded here today. DA Hoovler, Mayor, Sheriff, State Police, Port Jervis, everyone involved, thank you so much for your support. And again, to my staff, I can't thank you enough. Super proud of you day in and day out, the work that you do, not just on this level, but on every level, to make this community a better place. So thank you.